वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमार्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुविष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. I welcome everyone who are in the temple as well as who are online. We are going further on our study for Shrimad Bhagwat Gita. Today I wish everyone a happy Canada Day. Today is a Canada Day, 1st July, so wish everyone a happy Canada Day. And we will go further on our study. We were on the second chapter, 47th shloka, Karmane vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. I sometimes feel that this is the, of course, everybody knows this is the most famous slok from Shrimad Bhagwat Gita, and God must have been knowing it is on a fun side. Actually, it is a little fun, but God must have been knowing that this is going to be the most important sloka in Kali Yuga, and that is why it is second chapter, 47th slok. We call as 24/7. Whenever we start any business or we give any services, we say we give services 24/7. Means all the 24 hours and 7 days a week. This sloka is to be remembered on all the days, all the time, to continue working. And that is why it is second chapter 47, 24/7. We can say that. So it is also easy to remember that which sloka number is it? Karmane vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana is the 24/7, second chapter 47. So going further on it, last time last Saturday and the Saturday before, we were thinking about this sloka. How can I do not think about fruit of the karma? Why we cannot avoid thinking about the fruit? Because fruit gives us, there are various reasons we talked that the fruit is, how the fruit is deciding our direction in the karma, the resources to be decided and all those things. Then also we thought about that the fruit is the cause of the action. If it is not the cause in general, then we will not have any action. So that was also discussed. And then which are the forces other than the personal gain. So we thought about it last time that if you think that the only force is the fruit of the action which is making us, which is motivating us to carry out the action or karma, then we thought about the alternative actions which we do with alternative forces which are not connected to the fruits. So that is what also we discussed. Then we went further on the purpose, the objective, and the motivation. The word hetu, we went more in detail that fruit should only be a side product and it should not be the main objective of our actions. And that is where we stopped. And then so the question is, so what do we do and how do we act in the life? How do we act, decide the actions in our life? Because we cannot avoid the fruit, as there is always a fruit of the karma. That is number one part. The first part is there is always a fruit. So even if we say I don't need any fruit, I don't need any result of my karma, I am doing selfless work and all that, but still there is a fruit of the karma. So we cannot avoid the fruit. We can't just avoid the outcome of our actions. We can't avoid. And we cannot live only by looking at it, only by looking at the fruit, the other side of the pendulum, as it impacts the further actions, and it also gives us gets us all the results of it. Now that result may be positive or negative, it may be favorable and non-favorable, but any kind of result which is coming to us out of our actions are getting us into vices and complexes. Better qualities or worst qualities on other side, it gives us a impact in our life. It is giving us an impact to do the further actions, how to live further. And it may be in good or bad way. If a child is drinking a milk and the milk is too hot, then child knows that the milk is hot, then I should not be drinking it. So even that smallest experience gives a opportunity, a person to live further. It saves our life from the accidents. So fruits or the outcome of the actions are there always for our help. It may be wrong also. If the fruits are so much favorable, then if I am always winning in my sports, then it may get me into a complex that will be a superiority complex or some vices I will get. So the fruit are always going to impact us. If somebody is looking only at the fruits for the actions, it is definitely going to get them into the vices and complexes. And we also saw that we cannot neglect or avoid the fruit. We cannot neglect the fruit. If there is a fruit coming up and we say, I don't need it, then also it is not possible. Imagine a situation where there is a guy who is trying to make a big garden, and the garden has got a lot of vegetables and all the fruit trees and all that. And he says that, oh, I don't need any result from it. I don't need anything from it. I just want to do the gardening and that's it. We cannot refuse the fruit, because what will happen? Anything which is not guarded, anything which is not controlled, anything which is not protected will be in the hands of other people if we are not accepting it. If we do not accept and we do not take care of the fruits, the other side of the society, other kind of people who are not in that thought process will come and they will take away the fruits. And that is going to be a big impact on the other people also. Like one of the example is the free meal programs. Nowadays we say, and now not even now, even previous also, we were saying that, oh, there should be a free meal, everybody should get a free food. There were some institutions in Mumbai, I remember, they started, I think if the name was correct, it was Sanjeevani Trust. They started thinking about that there is a lot of food being wasted after the marriages. When the marriages are done, there is a lot of leftover food. And so why not to give that food to the poor people? So they arranged so many things. There were so many hundreds of volunteers started working on it. And they were collecting the food unused, like not the spoiled food, unused food from the marriage halls, hundreds of them in Mumbai. And then they will give that food for free to the poor people in the slums and all that. However, what happened is that after around 6 months of work, excellent going on, everything great, people are getting free food, no food being wasted, excellent. But what happened? After around 6 months, they started observing that it made the other side of the society, the poor side of the society, useless. They stopped working. They stopped doing any job. They were guaranteed for the free food. They were guaranteed for the free food. The moment they were guaranteed for the free food, they stopped working. They stopped working hard. And then the vices came in. Any idle mind is devil's own. So they will be just waiting for the food to come, and then they will quarrel among each other. They will start going into wrong habits and drugs and all that. Why? Because we are getting free food. So even if we neglect the fruit, even if we avoid, even if we do not take the fruit, the outcome of the action is going to create a fruit, and that fruit will be taken by somebody. And now if that somebody is good or bad, depending on that, the further actions will be there. So even if we neglect a fruit, what I mean is, even if we avoid, we neglect, we do not accept the fruit of our actions, the fruits are going to be there and it will have another impact. So we cannot neglect or refuse or accept, because bad people will grab the fruit and do the atrocity to the society. They can do wrong things to the society because now they are getting a free resource of supply. And one of the last, but the last thing is also that we cannot live without doing any actions. We cannot say that I will not do any action, because any action is creating a fruit, so I will not do any action. We cannot. all the dehadhari, the mortal body holders, all the dehadhari has to have an action because it is by the prakriti, by the nature. If a person decides that I don't want to do anything, absolutely nothing, so that there are no fruits coming out, the person has to breathe, the person has to eat, the person has to wear some clothes. Even if he is not wearing clothes, he has to make sure that he is getting some shelter so that mosquitoes do not bite him. Or he is getting at least some food so that he can live further. Otherwise his life will be ending within 7 days or 10 days. So Prakriti is making us push the nature. The nature, because we are embodied animals, we are embodied souls. When we are embodied souls, then we have to do the work, even to continue our life. And when we do the work, there is a fruit. So how to get out of it is a big question. If there are fruits, I cannot take the fruit, I cannot look at the fruit, I cannot neglect the fruit, I cannot avoid the karma. How should I be living? And that is exactly the second stanza, what God has told. Ma karma phala heturbuhu. Karmani vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma karma phala heturbuhu. Mate sangostva karmani. Ma karma phala heturbuhu. The hetu, the objective of your karma should not be the phalam, the phal, the fruit, the outcome. That should not be your hetu, your objective. But you do the work. Because the next stanza is, the next part is, Mate sangostva karmani. You should not be indulging into akarma. You cannot live as an inaction. You should not be indulging into an inaction. That is what it means. Now, if the God is on one side, we are telling that a person cannot live without any action, and on other side, here God is telling that do not go into an inaction. How does that happen? What is a difference between an inaction and an action without a purpose? That we have to learn. Yeah. So how to handle the fruit living unattached? So we are doing an action but unattached. And then there are various paths to do the actions which is shown by God. It will also come in the further stanzas when we are going to go further in Gita. That what are the different ways by which we can do the karma but we are not attached to the fruit. So what will happen in that case? That because we are doing karma, the problem of akarma is solved. And also that is inaction is solved because we are going to do the actions, the karma continuously, but we are not attached to the phalam. We are not attached to the fruit. So what are the methods to do it? And this is all psychological way, because physically the action will look same. So psychologically, how the fruit. So number one, and the easiest method in life, easiest method not to attach to the fruit is to take the fruit as prasad. Prasad. There is no equivalent English word of prasad, because there is no psychological meaning, there is no understanding of prasad in the complete European societies. There is no prasad. There is either a reward, there is either a gain or bestowing, but there is no prasad. There is nothing like prasad. So I have to use the word prasad. And we all know prasad. What is prasad? We go to the temple, we get some fruit, we get some, shira, we get some cashew and almonds. Is that prasad? It is definitely prasad. But it is mostly, in my mind, it is more like a symbol of the prasad rather than the actually prasad. What is prasad? What is prasad? Taking the results in the life of your all the actions as a prasad. So what is prasad? Number one, we are not putting the ownership stamp. We are not putting the stamp of ownership of our actions. So if I am doing a job, if I am going to my shop and I am doing a business and I work hard for the whole day and I get say $1,000 profit, but at the end of the day I don't put my effort, that earning of $1,000 as my effort, ownership, the ownership of the action. Maine kamaya, I earned today 1,000 bucks. Instead, God gave me the prasad of 1,000 bucks for my whole day actions, for my whole day effort. Prasad, prasade sarva dukkhanam hani rasyopajayate. This is the most important stanza. It's going to come in Gita further as we go. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hani rasyopajayate. The meaning is, with the prasad, all the dukkham, all the hani will go. I was wondering when I was a young boy, how come just by eating a banana which I received from the temple, all my dukkham will be going, all my sorrows will go just by eating a banana? All my worries, all my honey, all the bad things which are going to happen to me will be all gone by just eating some shira, some almonds from the temple. It neither looks practical nor logical. Just by eating a banana, how can I avoid all the dukkham? When on the other side it is told that dukkham is part of the karma phala and you have to accept it. If I do bad karma and then I eat banana, will all my bad karma results will go? It doesn't look logical. So what does it mean, taking prasad? Number one, don't put the ownership on the actions which we are doing. Why? Because all the energy in us is given by the Chaitanya, by the God. He is driving us. He is the energy in us. And when we work through that energy, that means that He is also a partner in our actions. And when He is in partner in our actions, the result is also, the outcome is also owned by Him. And He gives us the result as a prasad. That is what prasad is. Given by someone. And that will develop a gratitude. What will happen? That when we say, I did it, I make it happen, I am going to do this, then there is a problem of ego, either superiority or inferiority, any type of ego. But when we take it as a prasad, we develop gratitude. God has given me. Bhagwan ki ichha se hota hai. Thank to the God that He gave me this opportunity to work. Thank to the God that He gave me this fruit of my actions. That will develop a gratitude. And we will not judge or evaluate the fruit. If it is not favorable, if it is less favorable, more favorable, or totally favorable, more than what is expected, in either level, we will not be judging the fruit because it is coming as prasad. So when we go to the temple and Panditji is there to give us prasad, we say namaste, we say Jai Shri Krishna to the Panditji, and Panditji puts his hand in the bucket and he gives us a fruit. Which fruit? Whatever comes in the hand and whatever is given to us, we accept it as a prasad. We accept whatever has been given to us as prasad. We don't say that, oh, I got only this and I got only that. The person who says that is never satisfied. He will always look at what is in the hand of the other person. And he will never be happy. Because he is always looking at the dish and the content in the dish of the other person. So, taking it as a prasad is one way, is the first step. To do the karma, but not to get attached with the karma, not to get attached with the fruit. That is the first way, that is the first step, how we can do that. Prasad. Take the outcome of your actions as a prasad. All the results, all the resources, all the conditions which we get, take them as a prasad. Let the God be combined effort in it. And also the society. There is another part, is that combined effort of the society. When we say that, oh, I made this big building, I made this big bungalow, I earned so much of money, we forget that when we were born, we were a helpless animal who has not even opened the eyes, who doesn't know where to pee, where to go to washroom, how to eat, who is going to feed. So there is someone in the society who feed us, parents, Somebody took care of us, our brothers and sisters. Somebody taught us, our gurus, our teachers, the school. Somebody protected us, the governance, the police, the school guard. So many people. Somebody gave us love and warmth, our friends, other family members, extended families, neighbors. Because of all these people, finally we become capable to do some action. And that some action which we did, and we got the fruit. And we get the fruit, we say that I earned it. The total ownership, 100% of ownership of that is me, is with me. We say that. And the moment we say that, we are actually taking the right, we are snatching away the rights of the people who have made us capable to reach up to that level. We are snatching away their rights. And that is why they say, take care of the old parents. Why? Why to take care of old parents? They are useless. They can't help you in the work. They can't help you in earning money. They are sometimes always sick and all that, and we have to take care of them. Looking at a business side, they are a loss asset. They are an asset which is made with a loss. But humans are not like that. They have done their hard work to reach, for us to reach that level. So, when we see that, there is an impact, there is an input in our life from the society, from family members, then we share the ownership. When we share the ownership, what happens? It makes a person humble and compassionate. And then many people are like that. So, most of the people rather. So, then what we do? We donate. We don't have a complex that it is only me who is the owner of the fruit, but we are together as a family. One of the reasons of the marriage is that only, that when I am capable, I am going to share it. I am going to share it with the society. I am going to do the same thing what my parents did. I am going to raise the new generation, give them the culture which I got from my parents. And they do social work. They do lot of other good donations for the good cause. So that is another way to share. When we share the fruit, we don't put our complete ownership on it, and we do not get attached to it. That is another method. There is also a Gyan way. There is a Gyan way. The Gyan way is the fruit is given by the previous action. Yeah, Prarabdha, fortune, Omen, whatever name we say. If something good happens, I am doing actions. But for the same action, there are two different outcomes. One person and the other person, if both the person do the same action, the outcome is different. Why? Fortune, Prarabdha. So even if we do not get attached to it, what happens that we accept it as a Prarabdha. That is another way to do. We accept it as a Prarabdha. Jo hua, acha hua. So what will happen? Believing in fortune, and there is a universal law which is maintained by somebody, by someone who is a great energy, who is maintaining the law of nature, the law of karma. All these laws are being maintained in a true way by someone. We name it as God. When somebody has done that work, then I will believe in it, that even if my fruits are good or bad, they are because of my previous actions. Karma phala. When I believe that way, I don't get attached to the fruit because I accept it. The only part in this is that there is a what is called as a incapability. When we think that way and detach with the fruit, then we are putting ourselves into a capacityless, incapable We are putting ourselves in a psychology where we are helpless. We are just, the end result of our previous karma, and that is why it gives us a feeling of fruitlessness. But in this psychology, there is more like a negativity than positivity. In the case of prasad, we take prasad with love, that somebody who loves me has given me. In this case, where we are taking the fruit as a previous actions, there is a helplessness. As if a person is crying, oh, I have done this action and I have to take it. So, there is a little negativity in the third part which we are taking is the fruit of the previous action. But still, it is a way. We are evaluating, we are doing intellectual analysis. We are doing an intellectual analysis of how to get detached from the fruit. So this is the third way. Although it may not be the best way, but it is the third way how we can get detached from the fruit. Sometimes it results in purity, improvement and motivation for the better action. That is also happening from that. That if I think that my present results, my present fruit, my present karma phal is bad because of my previous bad actions, then I am motivated to do good actions in future. So, in society, in total, it helps. So that way also, we can get detached to the fruit, but because of the feeling which we attach, like, oh, it is bad or good, it is at least making us little by little pure and improve in our actions. And then finally, we are motivated to do a better action in future. So that is another way to do. One more way to detach with the fruit is to consider the action as a duty. Because I am born, it is my duty to do my actions. We take it as a duty. Duty towards oneself, to improve. This is also a path of jnana, a knowledge. When we say that it is my duty to do my job. Let us take an example of a bank cashier. A cashier in the bank, nowadays it is very less, but in the old time it was more. They are handling a lot of cash every day. They are taking like out of the bank safe, they will be taking maybe, I don't know, $50,000 out, and then they will keep in their cash box. When the customers come, they count it and they give it. Also the customers sometimes give them the money to deposit. The person is counting a lot of money every day, but he is not detached. He is detached. He is not attached to that money. When he is giving the money to the customer, he doesn't feel that I am giving so much money to other person. And when the customer gives him the money, he doesn't feel that I am getting this much money. In both cases, he is neutral. How is he neutral? Because he takes it as a duty. I am not the owner. I am just doing my duty. When the word duty comes, the ownership goes. It is duty towards your family. It is duty towards the society. It is duty towards your employer. It is duty towards the nation. Whenever we use the word duty, farj, when we use the word duty, the ownership goes. So when that level goes on increasing, when that level keeps increasing in our mind, and when we say that when we are born, whatever is born, whatever work we are doing is as a duty, then the ownership completely goes. When we do as a duty, the ownership goes. When the ownership goes, all the results of the fruits cannot touch us. It cannot touch us. And when it cannot touch us, the impacts of that fruit is not going to impact our actions. We will not have greed. We will not envy to the other people. Because we think that it is duty. The ownership is gone. In this case also, the jnanam, it is told, the jnana is a dry item. Jnana bahut hi sukha cheez hai. Why it is told like that? Why it is told jnana is a very dry item? Because in case of a duty, what happens, is that as far as it is like a medicine which is giving you the cure, but it is also making the other part of the body numb. It is giving us a cure, but it is making our body part numb. Let us take another example, a duty. If a child is sick, and there is a nurse, the nurse is taking care in the hospital, the nurse is taking care of the child, it is feeding the child correctly, it is giving the child all the required medicine, massage, cleaning, everything the nurse is doing. And the nurse is doing it as a duty. She is doing it as a duty. What will happen? After 8 hours of duty, when the nurse is going away, even if the child is telling the nurse, please be here, you are taking care of me and all, nurse will look at the watch and nurse will say, my duty is over, my shift is over, and I am going to go home. When we work like a duty, there is a dryness, there is no connection. Imagine there is a mother, even if mother is tired 8 hours and mother is trying to sleep also, after doing all that nursing and taking care of the kid. But mother is connected. The type of actions are all same between mother and the nurse. Both of them will do the cleaning of the kid, both of them will give medicine, both of them will give all the required fruits and all the things, cleaning. Both of them will do the same action, but the action of the nurse is different than the action of the mother, because mother is connected. So if we can do the duty as a mother, it is my duty to the child, but as a mother, then it is okay. Otherwise, only duty will become a dry action. It will give dryness. And human is a social animal. Anything dry will not make us happy. We will not feel happy when we are going to any place and the other person is not even talking to us or not connected, or sometimes they will say, oh, hello, how are you? But we don't feel the warmth, we don't feel the connection with the person, then we feel that, oh, it was a very dry welcome. It was a very dry welcome. We don't like to be in that program for longer period, even though we are welcomed and all. We are given the same gift box, but we don't like it. No, I didn't like it. People were not that warm. So, when by this method, that action is my duty and the outcome is coming as the outcome from the duty, yes, we are definitely disconnecting from the fruit, but the problem is that it becomes a dry life. The life becomes very dry. So, if you ask me, the best way is prasad. When we are connected to the giver, to the one who is giving us the results, but we are doing it as our actions towards that person, towards the God. That is the best way. That is why God has told, prasade sarva dukkhanam hani rasyopajayate. Remember here why we are doing that? Because we are talking about how to disconnect with the fruits which are coming out of our actions. Now let us understand what is an inaction. And can we remain inactive? Mate sangostva karmani. Mate sangostva karmani. Do not be attached to the inaction. Now getting attached and inaction, it looks irony. If there is an inaction, how we can be attached? So we have to understand this point very well, because many people get into that. Now number one, as we all know, that we cannot live without any action, because we are a mortal body and due to Prakriti, we have to keep working. But heartless action, action without warmth, action without understanding, action without connection, what will happen? We will not be putting our best efficiency into it. We will not be putting our best efficiency into it, because it is our duty. When it becomes heartless, it becomes into inaction. So in the case of an inaction, the person is seen to be working. The person is seen to be working hard and even getting the outcome also. But in the case of an inaction, it is an action without any heart, without anything in it. So we see government servants, most of the cases in every part of the world. We always say, oh, it is government? No, difficult. If it is government, very difficult. Why? Because we see them working like in inaction. That is one part of inaction, one way of looking at inaction. Chalta hai. Yeah, whatever is happening is happening. No part. I am not going to take any initiative. I am not going to take any creativity in me for the work. That is one of the characteristics of inaction. Disinterested actions. Let us take an example. You know, this all our mothers and sisters, they cook the food. Now, you give, for an experiment, you give the same quantity of ingredients to two different ladies. Two different ladies are doing the cooking with same ingredients. Same amount of ingredient, same quality of ingredient, same ingredients. And they are given a clear-cut procedure also, that you are going to do exactly this procedure to cook the food. So there is no change in resources or ingredients. There is no change in procedure. When both of them cook the food and you taste the food, there is a difference in the taste. Why? When the inputs are same, the science is telling, when the input is same and the procedure is same, the outcome is same. But it does not happen. We see it does not happen. We see there is a taste difference between each food. Why? Because the amount of interest always varies from person to person. Amount of love, amount of affection, amount of interest, amount of zeal, whatever we have is always different from one person to other person. When that is there, the outcome is going to be different. So, there is a part in the outcome, there is a part of how much heart we are putting into it. When we go into inaction, inaction doesn't mean you just don't wear any clothes, you don't do anything and you just go to a forest and sit under a tree. That's not an inaction. That is not a definition of inaction. Means you are not indulging into a positivity of doing an action. It is neither negativity or positivity. Sometimes people do actions to distract. That is also an action, but it is negativity they are putting the negativity in the mind. Yeah. All these terrorists and other people, they are doing action. What is the difference between the people who are fighting say for example, there is a terrorist attack. There are two people who are fighting on each side. Both of them has got gun. One is a police, another is a terrorist, for example, or a gangster. What is the difference? Both of them have got the gun. Both of them are trying to aim and shoot. Both of them are trying to kill the other side of the people. What is the difference? The difference is the positivity and negativity of the action. How we think about the action is important. And so, both those ladies, when they are cooking, I'm not telling they are doing negativity, but the amount of the psychological level of them is different. And that is why there is a difference in the taste. Cooking food without interest will spoil the taste. Cooking food, even if there are minimum ingredients, but cooking with a great interest will make a great food. Even if it is just a simple cheese sandwich, 2 bread pieces and 1 slice of cheese in between, it will make a difference. So disinterested actions are not allowed. Then depressed actions. Depressed actions will cause the life miserable. Society will be unhappy. Nobody likes to see a crying face. If we are taking that, oh, I am not looking at the fruit, I am not worried and fruit is too much a problem to me, always whatever I do is going into wrong direction, then we say I am not interested, I am disinterested and I am going into an inaction. Inaction means working without any heart into it, without any feeling, without any understanding, without any zeal. Inaction doesn't mean that I will not do the work. People have to do the work. Even if not doing, akarma is also karma. Gahano karmana gatihi. It will come in further. Not doing an action is also a big action. We know the story of Mahabharata, of the Draupadi Chirharan. Bhishma, Drona, Krupacharya, Ashwatthama, they didn't take part in, in the insult of Draupadi, but they were in action. They didn't act against an atrocity. And that inaction itself is also an action. That is why there is nothing like inaction. Inaction means not doing an action in a required time, in a required way, in a required moment. That is inaction. Because we cannot live without an action. But inaction doesn't mean kuch nahi karna. Inaction doesn't mean I will do nothing. That is not inaction. Because inaction is not practically possible as a mortal body. We have to do action. Inaction means doing the work heartless, not putting your best efficiency. And that is why when people are getting a continuous, when some people are unfortunately getting continuous negative results, continuously their outcome is always below the expected result and failure and failure and failure, they go into inaction. They go into depression. And that is why God knows about it. So God is telling, don't go into that. Mate sangostva karmani. Mate sangostva karmani. Ma means not. Sangha, attachment to akarma. Ma, no, do not. Ma, te, your. Sangha, attachment. Astu, must be akarma. Your actions. Even whenever you are doing any work and you are getting a negative result also, keep doing it. Improve in the input, improve in the resources. Maybe we are not skilled enough, then start with another one. But do not get into depression. All those people who go into depression, this is also a great shloka for them. Do not go into depression. Do not go into a situation, I will always fail. मेरे से तो होगा ही नहीं. Do not go into that. Mate sangostva karmani. Akarma. Never get pravritta in akarma. Never get into an akarma. Depressed action will cause the life, will cause a miserable life. Society will be an unhappy place to live. So this is the outcome. This is in total, this shloka is. This shloka we have taken for almost 3 sessions. Very important shloka. Karmane vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbuhu mate sangosto karmani. Now we'll go to the next shloka which is connected to this shloka and we will think about it further. I'll first chant the shloka, second chapter, 48th shloka. Yogastha kuru karmani sangatyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. This is in connection with the previous sloka. What it means? Yogastha kuru karmani. Yogastha. Being steadfast in yoga. Yoga means connected, continuous. Being steadfast in yoga. And Sangha Tyaktva Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is the name of Arjuna. Sangha Tyakta. Sangam. Sang means attachment. Tyaktva means abandon. Yogastha Kuru Karmani. God is telling that you get connected with the karma and then, so it means be steadfast in the performance of your duty. Abandoning the attachment. Attachment to what? Siddha siddhayo. To the success and failure. Siddhya siddhyo. Siddha asiddha means success and failure. Siddha and asiddha samo bhutva. Take them equally. And then when you take them equally, samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatvam, equanimity. Equanimity. Samatvam means equanimity. Equanimity. So when you are in an equanimity, samatvam yoga uchyate, connecting, joining with samatvam will be the best way to go. So How does it make? Also in this sloka, it looks like it is on one side it is telling yogastha kuru karmani. You, in case of the action, you be connected. Yoga means to connect. Yoga means to join. Yoga doesn't mean only to move the body part and do some breathing. Yoga means to join. To understand. Sankhya Yoga, to understand the method of Sankhya and get connected and start thinking along. That is what Sankhya Yoga. We are going through the second chapter, which is Sankhya Yoga. So, here, coming out of the bonding of attachment is to get the Buddhi Yoga and do the job accordingly. So, when we get connected with the karma, it is the results are getting and not with the results, then we get a status which is equanimity. That is what God is telling here. So, here there is a one word which is Sangatyaktva. Sangatyaktva. And this word has created a lot of misunderstanding. And lot of people have taken this in an incorrect way. When we say Sangatyakta, Sang in other words is Sangam, is attachment. Sang means attachment, getting connected. And God is telling Sangatyaktva. Some people understood that is removing the, not getting connected means not coming in contact. Some people and many large number of people in the society, in the world society, thought about this word as Sangha as coming in contact instead of getting into the attachment. So when we say that as coming in contact and not understanding it, getting into the attached, then we do not understand this sloka correctly. So let us take an example of coming in contact but not getting attached. Suppose we are going in a crowded train. There is a person who is going in a crowded train. There is a lot of people who are standing in the train and also some people are sitting. Now, one person wants to get down to the station. So the person who was sitting stood up and got down to the station. Now, people are good, people are generally good, so there is a lady standing. So a person is telling the lady, please sit here. He will not jump and sit himself, but he will tell the lady to sit over there, offering a seat to a lady. So now that lady is sitting next to this person. He is not connected, even though the lady is directly sitting next to her. And if the third person comes and says, can you please tell your wife to go that side? He will say, she is not my wife. He is next to her, but he is not connected. He is not attached to her. This is the difference between coming in connection and getting attached. Coming in connection is one part and getting attached is other part. God is telling here, Sangha Tattva means do not get attached. Let us take another example. If somebody likes the sweets so much, I always give sweets of gulab jamun. It's my favorite example. It's my favorite sweet also, but it is more as an example of a sweet rather than to eat for myself. Anyway, so when a person likes to eat sweet, he likes gulab jamun so much, he is eating and eating. And then one day the doctor is telling, sorry, you can't eat a lot of sweet, you cannot eat so much sugar because you have got a diabetes. You have got a diabetes, you can't eat more. So he says, okay, he is a very sensible guy. He says, okay, fine, I am not going to eat any more gulab jamun. So now he is not eating any gulab jamun. He stopped eating any food with sugar. So he stopped eating gulab jamun. Now he goes to some place and then there is a feast and then there is gulab jamun. So even though he is not eating the gulab jamun, he is looking with a greedy eye to that sweet dish and he is cursing himself and he is telling, oh my God, I can't eat it because of my diabetes, but I will love to eat it and all that. In this case, even though he is not coming in contact with the gulab jamun, he is attached to the gulab jamun. He is attached to it. So we have to understand the difference between coming in contact and getting attached. Because in the English, attach means it is connected. Attach this picture to the door. That means get it in contact. But here the Sangam is not in the meaning of getting in contact, getting in touch. No. Sangha means removing it from your mind, removing it from the attachment, the feeling of attachment, the feeling of connected, the feeling of relationship with the thing is to be removed. That is what God is telling. From where? Siddha Siddhayo. From good or bad fruit, whatever is the fruit coming out, whatever is the thing coming out of your actions, do not Sangha Tyaktva, attachment, remove the attachment from that. That is what God is telling. God is trying to explain it further because it's very difficult for people to understand. When I am doing something and I am getting the fruit of it, how can I not get attached to it? How can I throw it away? Anything, because we create it, we get attached to it. So here, the meaning of Sangam, which was misunderstood, was coming in contact rather than getting it attached. So here Sangha means, Sangha Tyaktva means do not get attached. Tyaktva. Tyaktva. The word is Tyaktva. It is not leaving. It is abandoning. You cannot leave. You have to abandon. Chhod dena. Phek dena. Throw away. Abandon. Forcefully, by your understanding, through your brain, through our intellect, we abandon. That is what is Tyaktva. Tyaktva doesn't mean just drop it down. Tyaktva doesn't mean to leave. Tyaktva means abandon. So Sangam Tyaktva, you have to understandably, with your mind, with your intellect, throw away. Abandon the Sangam. Abandon the Sangam, not the fruit. Remember, abandon the Sangam, Sangha, and not the fruit. Now, how can we do that? When something is with me, how can I abandon it? If I abandon, that means I have to throw it away. But I can be with the same thing and still I abandon. How can we have it? How can we have that? How can we have something which is connected to it, which is connected, which is in connection with us and still not attached to us? There are many methods, there are many things which we can think about, the example which come in my mind. One is that, suppose I am eating a food, and a nice food which I am hungry and I am eating it, I am eating samosas, and then I suddenly get a message that, something wrong has happened, a very sad message or a very wrong message. What happens? We complete our meal, okay, I am eating so I will complete my meal and I will go, but while eating that meal, my mind is somewhere else. So I will not be enjoying my meal, even though it is my best dish. This is another example where we see that even if it is bodily connected, my tongue is tasting the samosas, but because my mind is somewhere else, I will not get the feeling of enjoyment while having that meal. Here also the example, some of the practical example in life which we see, where I am in contact with the thing, but I am not getting attached, I am not getting the Sangha, I am not getting the feeling of attachment with that object or a person. That is what we can say Sangha. So, now another way to understand this, because this is very important to understand the word Sangha. There is no equivalent word in English for that. So another word of Sangha is that getting in contact in dreams. When we are in dream, we get the same feeling. Oh, I was a king in a kingdom, and I was having this and I was having that in your dream. But when we wake up, oh, the whole kingdom is gone. And we do not worry about it. Yeah, it was dream. We do not feel a loss of $1 million. Because it was a dream. Because it was a dream, we do not feel the loss. So, with our intellect, we understand that one which we had was in our dream. And because it was in our dream, We do not feel a loss. Even though in our dream we were in contact with all those objects. So dream is another example of to understand what is the Sangha, how we are in contact but still we are not connected, we are not still having attachment to it. So this is a very important part, because if we understand a tyaktva and the Sangha, then we will be able to yogastha kuru karmani. Unless we abandon it, we will not be able to focus and get yogastha with the karma, yogastha kuru karmani. So today we are almost at the end of our session. We will think about this further next Saturday when we come, and we will think about yogastha kuru karmani, and when we do the Sangha tyaktva, how the Sangha is happening, and how it is not only Sangha for us, for other people also, it is part of it also, because we are social people. So we will try to understand it further from that point, and till then I wish everyone a very happy weekend. This is a long weekend for many people, having a Canada Day holiday. So I wish everybody enjoy your holiday with your family, and we will meet again on next Saturday at 10 o'clock again in the temple as well as online. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Para Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah.